Hello you perverts, it's Patrick and this is The Great Everything, your daily source for all things culture and philosophy. It's the 11th of March and also it's Shabbos, which for me means zero work and zero effort, and for you it means there's also zero research gone into this segment, so lucky you! But I still want to tell you something cool. You like Game of Thrones? Okay, imagine this. Imagine crossing the crazy sadistic Joffrey Lannister with the crazy and way more sadistic Ramsay Bolton, except he's not a fictional character, but real. What you get is the guy I'm about to tell you about. Because today in the year of our Lord 222, the Emperor of Rome, Elagabalus, was murdered by his own Praetorian Guard. And here's why I'm telling you about this. Elagabalus is that honest-to-God real-life Joffrey Lannister Ramsay Bolton mix. He was a teenage emperor, came to the throne when he was 14. He was put there by his scheming grandmother, who was a real-life Cersei Lannister. And straight away it was clear this dude was a terrible fit. He was a madman, total maniac, maybe the worst emperor Rome ever had. And that includes people like Caligula, who made his horse a senator, Nero, Joaquin Phoenix, all those guys. How bad exactly? Okay, he was Syrian. No, that's not the bad part, you racist. He was Syrian, and back home he was the high priest of a Syrian sun god called Elagabalus, just like him. He was named after the god. So when he came to Rome, he forced everyone to worship his god, then he substituted the statues of Jupiter with statues of his god. He conducted human sacrifices in the palace, big no-no. He circumcised himself, and then he proclaimed himself the sun god, which is why he's got the same name, Elagabalus. This alone should tell you this dude wasn't gonna last on the throne, because you know those Romans, they're very traditionalist. They don't like their statues fucked with. Also, he was a fucking lunatic, and the worst host you can imagine. He would have all these dinner guests over and he would force them to eat the most fucked up things, like live parrots, stuffed snake, flamingo brains, and he threatened to execute them and their whole families if they didn't obey. He would hide lions and other wild animals in the rooms of his palace and get his guests to walk around and try their luck. A lot of them were unlucky, which is funny because I guess the dinner guests ended up as dinner. And, oh yeah, he used to feed his monkeys human dicks. Never saw that one on Game of Thrones. And also, total pervert. Pretty much he banged everyone. He would wear makeup and wigs, and he'd go to taverns and brothels and prostitute himself to sailors and stuff. He had this room set up in the palace where he'd stand at the door naked in his wig in drag, and he'd speak with a soft voice and invite guards in and passers-by. He'd just stand there looking like a New Orleans hooker, and he'd get people to bugger him. And then he'd go around to senators and soldiers and brag about the money he'd made as a common prostitute. This is the Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world. He'd get slaves to bang him too, and frequently he said how he wanted to be a wife and queen, so he planned to make one of his slaves emperor and husband. He even had men go throughout the city to seek out young boys with the biggest cocks so he could enjoy their vigor. So that's Elagabalus. Basically what you get if you mix Joffrey with Ramsay, but with the power of Daenerys. And is there any other character that's just really sexually debauched in Game of Thrones? Anyway, he got assassinated today in 222 AD, and yeah, happy times. For more cultural nonsense discussed in a meaningful yet accessible manner, please stay tuned with The Great Everything, and have a great weekend, guys.